So they go back, they give the egg to the Jawas. The Jawas just crack it open and eat the yolk, which I thought was kind of a funny moment. Like that's all they wanted this thing for. The Mandalorian risks his life so they could have like an egg breakfast, basically. Okay, guys, so Mandalorian Episode 2 came out. I just watched it, so these are my initial reactions and thoughts on the show and the episode. I'm going to kind of break it down and give you my thoughts at the end of the overall episode. So it picks off right where you left off. The Mandalorian's got the Yoda Baby, youngling, yodeling, the yodeling. It's got the yodeling with him, and it opens up with a fight scene with what I'm assuming are Transdoshans. They look a little different than Bosk, but, no two Transdoshans are made alike. So I'm pretty sure that's what they are. And there's a pretty well choreographed fight scene. They're trying to take out this baby. The one Transdoshan at the end runs with his back towards the Mandalorian, which I wasn't really sure. That kind of seems silly because the Mandalorian had his gun in his hand, so I don't know why this thing would just go running, with his back to him, trying to axe this yodeling baby. So, but he does, and he gets disintegrated. So I thought that was a little more than we saw from the first episode, where there were some criticisms that you didn't see the guy get sliced in half. It happened, but you didn't see it. So this was, this showed a little more graphic nature. He does get disintegrated and vaporized. So that was a nice little moment, kind of added to his ruthlessness a little bit. And then you see them head to the ship, and before they do that, you see the Mandalorian gets injured, and he's got like a little cut on his arm. And, it's a deep little wound. It's a little graphic as well. Nothing major, but, it's a little graphic. And the Yoda Baby somehow goes and tries to force heal the Mandalorian. And this has me conflicted because I don't really know. I don't know where they're going with this yodeling, character. He's 50 years old, so yeah, but he's a baby. And how has he learned to do this stuff? How is he able to just kind of learn how to use the Force? What kind of training has he had? We don't know the character yet, or the species. I don't know what they're going to go, if they're going to delve into Yoda's species. Lucas has always wanted to stay away from that. I don't know if he's now changed his mind because he is consulting on this show. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet how I feel about the Yoda character, or the yodeling character. But he does try to use Force heal. Also, he's in the carriage, which is levitated off the ground, and somehow he keeps jumping down and walking, and he's a little guy. He's like the size of a football. And then the Mandalorian, they go back to their ship, and they find out that Jawas have been stealing and tearing apart the ship. Now, this also has some people mixed feelings with the Jawas, because I get, they're not supposed to be, or they haven't been outside of Tatooine before. I personally don't have a problem with it. I think Jawas eventually would spread throughout the galaxy. I can see the point of view, but I'm okay with it. They don't feel like they're shoehorned in. They feel like it's natural. You see that scene in the transport, and it feels like it's natural Star Wars. It doesn't feel like it's shoehorned in. So, but they're taking apart this thing, and then you see the Mandalorian sniping and disintegrating Jawas, which I thought, again, was a nice little touch. He does have this little telescopic viewfinder that he again switched from his left eye to the middle of his forehead, and I think that's a scene from the first episode. They just used it again. I don't know why he needs that thing anyway. Shouldn't that visor have a zoom built in? I mean, our phones can zoom in and out. You think his visor would have that, but I guess it doesn't. So he's got this little telescopic. But decide where you're looking. Do you look through the middle of your visor, through your viewfinding helmet, or do you, where your eyes would be? It's kind of confusing. So anyway, he snipes these Jawas, kills a few of them. They get away. He chases the transport, climbs onto it, and there's a nice little moment where he's on the side, and there's rocks. He's hanging on the side, and there's rocks coming, and he's going to get crushed, right? And he has to roll up on top of the one of the wheels, or the tracks. And it really reminded me, I think it's like an Indiana Jones little Easter egg for the Last Crusade, because it really reminded me of the scene where Indy's on the side of the tank and he's about to get crushed and he has to spin around. Very reminiscent of that. I think Favreau and Filoni probably did that as a little call out to Indiana Jones, which was pretty cool. And then you've got the Mandalorian climbing up and grabbing Jawas and throwing them out windows, throwing them off the top of it, and you see them fall to their deaths. And I like that. I wasn't expecting that, so I was kind of whoa, okay, crap. I guess we're showing this now. So I kind of like that scene. I thought it worked. elevated his ruthlessness a little bit. So I thought it worked, yeah. Anyway, he gets zapped. He gets to the top, and there's like 8 Jawas. They zap him. He falls off, almost kills himself, or almost dies, and knocks himself out. He gets shocked. So he wakes up. He gets the baby, and they go back to Quill. I'm going to call him Quill. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce his name, but it's the Nick Nolte Ugnaught character. So he gets him, and he asks him for help, and says, I need to get out of here. My ship's been torn apart. And Quill says, all right, let's go to the Jawas. We'll work something out with them. So they go back to the Jawas, and the Jawas basically determined the Mandalorian needs to go and get this egg for them. They want this egg. So the Mandalorian goes with the Baby Yoda because he doesn't want to leave it, unattended. And it still is his bounty at this point, though, you start getting the sense he's kind of getting an emotional attachment, but it's still the bounty. So he goes and takes on this creature, this beast-like creature, and I'm pretty sure it's a similar creature, if not the same, from one of the Colosseum scene in Attack of the Clones, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are trying to fend off these 3 creatures. The one with the horns, I think it's the same species. I'm not 100%. I have to go back and watch that scene, but I think it looks very similar. So he's getting his butt kicked. He's not able to beat this thing, and he's about to basically die. His armor's a wreck, and he's kneeling down, and he bows his head, and he takes out a knife, kind of a very, still the warrior spirit, but he kind of knows he's going to die. But he has his knife out, just in case a miracle happens, and the thing's charging him, and all of a sudden, Baby Yoda uses the Force and levitates the creature off the ground. And Mandalorian's able to knife him and kill it, and then get the egg. I do like the fact that the Mandalorian has, he's not like superpowered. He's not like the Mary Sue character. He's got trials, tribulations, and he's losing battles. So he's not just like totally 100%. A lot of people want him to be this guy, ruthless and just kind of really cool at everything, but I'm okay with him not being this guy. He's his own guy, and not everyone on Mandalore is like that. I'm okay with it. I think it fits the show that, it's a character development. It's what we've complained about in the prequel or the sequel trilogy. At least they're working on that in this. You see his struggles. But I don't know. The Yoda, I don't know how he's able to do this thing, the yodeling. Picking him up, using the Force. It does drain him, so the baby passes out. So they go back, they give the egg to the Jawas. The Jawas just crack it open and eat the yolk, which I thought was kind of a funny moment. Like, that's all they wanted this thing for. The Mandalorian risks his life so they could have, like, an egg breakfast, basically. So he gets the parts back. They go back to the ship, him and Quill and the Baby Yoda. And they put the ship back together seemingly overnight. It seemed like there was a lot of work that needed to be done. Somehow, I guess time stands still on this planet, and they're able to fix this thing overnight, or that's the way it seems. So he's ready to take off. He asks Quill to join the group. Quill says no, that he worked to get out of servitude. He doesn't have to want to, I guess, like go back into working for someone. So the Mandalorian says thank you, and he leaves. And the last scene is the Mandalorian on the ship. And he's got the baby yodeling, which is passed out still, and he kind of gives it a little rock in the cradle. Doesn't wake up, and so he starts setting his course. And then you see in the background, yodeling wakes up and starts rolling over. So all is well. And that's where the episode ends. So what do I think? Overall, I still like it. Yeah, it has issues here and there. I'm not sure where they're going with Yoda, the Yoda character, the yodeling character, and the character of Mandalorian. They're kind of trying to ride this line of like keeping him sort of ruthless, but also making him sort of a good guy. But you have to have a character that you're rooting for too. So it's going to be interesting to see where they carry this. How he rides that line of good and yet sort of ruthless. So far, this episode has done a better job than the first episode. The other worry is like the Yoda character. I don't know where they're going with this. I'm still not sure how I feel. The Yoda character kind of came and saved the day in both circumstances, which, I'm okay because it gives the Mandalorian something to overcome, but also, the Baby Yoda can't be the answer for everything, which I don't think it's going to be, but it's just a concern going forward, thoughts I had. How's it so strong? And why does it know how to use the Force at such a young age? 50 years old, yes, but it's still a baby because they age very slow. So those are my thoughts so far. I really like the music. That's the other thing. I'm still on board with the music. I know that's also been kind of, some people really like it, some don't. I'm in the camp that I do like it. I think it's different enough from the Skywalker trilogy or Skywalker saga that it it separates itself, has the Western vibe, but it still feels like Star Wars, like a galaxy far, far away to me. So I like it. I'm on board with the music as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I like the pacing of the episode. I'm okay with a little bit slower pacing. So far, I'm still on board with it. I'm still liking it. I thought they upped it a little bit. There's still the concerns I have with the Yoda character. And then the Mandalorian itself, kind of, trying to ride that line of good and bad. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the second episode. I'd love to know yours in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing. For anyone who has, if you haven't, please consider subscribing. I'm really loving the building of this channel. It's so much fun to do, and I like that I get to put this stuff out for you guys, and you guys seem to be enjoying it. So it's great. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.